Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading Lyney Listener by me. So let's get into it. The atmosphere of Fontaine's streets hummed with the usual liveliness as you walked hand in hand with Lyney. The day had started with the thrill of another mission, but it had not ended as smoothly as you'd hoped. You tried to ignore the dull throb in your side, the one you've been hiding from Lyney ever since you finished your task. But each step sends a wave of pain, and you couldn't help but wince. Are you alright, darling? His voice, usually filled with playful mischief, now carried a note of concern. He glanced at you, his sharp eyes narrowing as they caught the wince you failed to conceal. You forced a smile, trying to brush it off. I'm fine, Lyney. Just a little tired. And that's when he stopped walking, turning to face you fully, his hands moving to cup your face. The seriousness in his eyes made your heart ache more than the pain in your side. You're not a good liar, you know that. You're hurt. Lyney, it's nothing, I promise. You begin, but he cuts you off with a shake of his head. It's not nothing if it's causing you pain. His voice is firm, but there is a softness to it, a deep care that makes your chest tighten. Why didn't you tell me? You looked away, unable to meet his gaze. I didn't want to worry you. We've had so much going on with the mission and everything else. It really was just a scratch. He sighed, pulling you into a gentle embrace. You don't have to bear everything alone. We're a team, remember? What hurts you hurts me too. His words sink in, and you feel a wave of guilt. Lyney has always been by your side, through thick and thin. He's always been there to share in your joys and to hold you during your sorrows. And yet here you were, trying to shield him from something he would gladly help you with. I'm sorry, you whisper, leaning into his embrace. I just didn't want to be a burden. You could never be a burden, he replies, his voice soft as he presses a kiss to your temple. Let me take care of you. And before you can protest, Lyney scoops you up into his arms, careful not to jostle your injured side, and you can't help but gasp. However, he just chuckles, the sound a comforting balm to your frayed nerves. Lyney, you don't have to carry me, you say, though the warmth of his arms is something you're not inclined to argue with. And yet, here we are, he teases, a playful glint returning to his eyes. Besides, it's faster this way. I need to get you home so I can patch you up. You sigh, but there's no point in arguing with him. Lyney can be stubborn when he's made up his mind, and right now, that stubbornness of his is focused on you. He carries you through the streets with ease, throwing a few curious glances, but mostly smiles from the people who recognize him. After all, Lyney is well known in Fontaine, and he is a famous magician. When you finally reach your shared apartment, Lyney sits you down gently on the sofa. He disappears for a moment, but then comes back with a first aid kit. His hands are steady as he kneels before you, carefully lifting your shirt just enough to see the injury. Ah, mon chéri, this is more than just a scratch, he murmurs, concern etching deeper lines into his face. It's not that bad. You protest weakly, but he silences you with a look. Hush now, let me focus. His voice is firm, but there is a tenderness in his touch as he begins to clean the wound. His fingers work with practiced precision, but you can see the worry in his eyes as he tends to you. And as he works, you study his face, The way his brows furrow in concentration, the way his lips press into a thin line. Lyney is always so confident, so sure of himself, but when it comes to you, there is a vulnerability that he rarely shows anyone else. It's in these moments that you see just how much he cares, how much he loves you. Lyney, he says softly, reaching out to brush a stray lock of hair from his forehead. He glances up, his expression softening as he meets your gaze. Yes, love? Thank you, you whisper, your voice thick with emotion. For everything. He pauses, his hand stilling for a moment, before he leans in to press a gentle kiss to your lips. You never have to thank me for that. I'll always be here for you. You smile against his lips, feeling a warmth spread through your chest that has nothing to do with the injury. I know, and I'll always be here for you as well. And when he's done, and the two of you are finally settled on the sofa, he pulls you close. Promise me you'll be more careful next time. I promise. As long as you promise the same. He chuckles, pressing a kiss to your hair. Deal. And for a while you sit in comfortable silence, the warmth of his presence soothing you. The pain in your side's still there, but a little bit more manageable, with Lyney's help. And also, just his presence makes you feel better. Eventually he speaks again, his voice soft and filled with affection. You know, I think this just proves that we're a perfect match. Oh? How so? Well, you keep getting into trouble, and I keep saving you. It's like we're made for each other. You laugh, the sound light despite the pain. Or maybe you're just a turbo magnet. Could be, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And neither would I, her replied softly, your heart swelling with love for him. And Lyney's expression softens, and he leans in, pressing a soft kiss to your lips. And when he pulls back, he rests his forehead against yours. I love you, Ion. And I love you too, Lyney. I really do. And in that moment, with his arms around you and his love surrounding you, the pain in your side fades into nothingness. All that matters is this little moment in time, where the two of you can cherish the other's love